Hello and welcome to another episode of Cook the World. Today we are making Belgian Moules Frites, or mussels with Belgian fries. This is a bistro classic. The very last trip that my husband and I took before the pandemic hit was actually to the Netherlands and Belgium, and Belgium is one of those countries where I immediately felt at home. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that they speak French in Brussels and I can at least get by conversationally in French for day to day. But even when we were in Antwerp, where a lot of them spoke Flemish, I guess it was due to the fact that a lot of them spoke English as well. Belgium was just one of those countries where I immediately felt at home. So I've been having a hankering for Belgian food recently, and there is nothing more Belgian than having mussels in a white wine and butter sauce and Belgian fries. So I'm going to be pulling my recipes from All Recipes, as well as from the Food Network. And I do use several recipes in this case as references. I'm not actually copying any given reference, but I will link all the recipes that I did use in my research in the description if you're curious to learn a little bit more about Belgian food and maybe to try to recreate this yourself. And so let's get started. I'm going to start by peeling and slicing about 2 pounds of potatoes into 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch slices. I'm going to fry those. Now the thing with Belgian fries is that, like the inari sushi we did a couple weeks ago actually, you do want to fry them twice. Once at a lower temperature, today it's going to be 300 Fahrenheit, and then once again a higher temperature, 350. The lower temperature is just to cook the potatoes and get them nice and soft. And then you're going to take the potatoes out, pat them dry, let them cool for about 30 minutes, and then put them back in at about 350 Fahrenheit. So I actually wound up using about 3 pounds of potatoes here. It does happen to be what we have left in the bag right now, and it's right about that sweet spot for making these potatoes. They haven't gone bad, like they're not really soft at this point, but they're a little bit squishy. And I mean, I took most of the roots off, but I'm not sure if you can see on any of these. No, I actually took most of them off. That's about the point where you want them, and it does seem to give you this nice fluffy texture on the inside with a nice crisp outside when you roast them or fry them up. I'm trying to cut them about 1 inch in width. They're fries, they're pretty flexible. And there you have it. A bowl of about 3 pounds of potatoes, vaguely cut into fry shapes. They are a little short. I kind of wish that we had longer potatoes or bigger potatoes, but that's okay. That's what we had. You're supposed to soak this in ice water or cold water for about 10 minutes just to get a lot of the starch off. So I'm going to do that in a moment. But right now, the important thing is that I myself am covered in starch, so I'm going to go wash my hands. I'll be back in a moment. All right, so we have our potatoes set to soaking. I'm just going to leave that for about 10 minutes. And I'm going to get started on the mussels. Alright, so as you can see, I've set my mussels to soaking actually, because I might as well if I'm going to look for examples for you guys on how to spot mussels that you should not eat, as well as how to look for the beard. So first off, mussels that you should not be eating. So you've got a couple of guys here. These guys have their shells opened up, and this is before I've cooked them, so these guys are very clearly dead. You don't want to eat these. You want to throw these out. There's a little trick that you can use when you're checking if your mussels are alive, before you cook them obviously. If you tap the shell a little bit, just tap it a few times with your forefinger like that, and you'll actually see the mussel close back up if it's alive. If it's not alive, it'll just stay open, but it's actually kind of cool. When you start tapping your finger, you just see it very slowly close. I was going to take a video of that, but realized it was going to be very hard to see because some of those mussels were only open by a millimeter or so. But yeah, fun fact. This guy here has a crack. Not only does it have a crack, it actually has a break in the shell. You might see some mussels like this. These guys you don't want to be eating either. You want to throw these out. So If you have the advantage of being near a good fishmonger, or your grocery store actually does allow you to pick out your own live mussels, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for a mussel that is closed, quite tightly closed, and you're looking for a mussel that actually feels quite heavy for its size. Now you see that little brown thing there? That's the beard. When you're debearding your mussels, that's what you want to remove. And basically, particularly if you're going to debeard your mussels well before you cook, I'm actually just going to beard these about 10 to 15 minutes before I cook. You want to be pulling that beard towards the hinge, because if you pull it this way, it very likely, if not certainly, will kill the mussel. And you'll want to check for those on each of your mussels, have those removed before you cook them. So I'm just going to set that to soaking for about 10 minutes. These guys probably wait a few minutes more. I'm going to get started on the andalouse, classic andalouse with Belgian fries. Now the thing about an andalouse sauce is it's basically a mayonnaise-based sauce. In Belgium, I have very rarely seen ketchup with fries. And quite frankly, I like mayonnaise better with fries. I know there are people who don't. But in Belgium, it's very often served with a mayonnaise or mayonnaise-based sauce, or an aioli or an andalouse. I'm going to be making andalouse today. The closest thing for those of you in North America that I can compare to an andalouse is probably Thousand Mile dressing. It's a little bit acidic. You've got a creamy base, and you have tomato paste in there that gives it a little bit of a reddish, orangish color. For the andalouse, you want about a cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, about a tablespoon or so of lemon juice, about a 1/4 teaspoon or so of salt, a couple of tablespoons of red onion, or more if you like things kind of oniony, and about a tablespoon each of green red pepper, diced, and red bell pepper. And so you just want to stir this really well. It smells really good. And voila! You have an andalouse sauce, which we are going to be serving with our Belgian fries. Alright, now just as I did in the video with the Inari sushi a couple of weeks ago, I've got a couple inches of oil in this pan. I've drained all of the starchy water from the potatoes, so that they're just a little bit less starchy, and I've patted dry some of our potatoes over here so that I don't start having this entire thing spitting at me in a few minutes. I'm letting this oil heat up right now. I'm still using the meat thermometer for this because I was adult and did not order a cane thermometer, but there is one on the way because I doubt this is the last time I'm going to be deep frying stuff. So I am waiting for this oil to get to 300, or basically right when this thing starts dying on me and telling me it's too hot. Hopefully I'm not too distracted over here and completely miss when that oil gets to temperature, but I'm going to start debearding mussels. Yeah, big beard right there. Just tug, grip firmly, tug towards the hinge, and it should, in theory, come right out. There you go, come right out. Beard is actually how mussels grab onto things. If you have a pair of fish tweezers, that actually might make this job a little bit easier. Bam, we're at 295. And you want them cooked, but not golden. You also want to do this in batches. I think it should take about 5 minutes. So they are still quite white, but they're cooked, like they are softer. And that's what you're really looking for after that first fry. Kind of like the tofu when we were making the aborage. You're looking for cooked, but not end product, shall we say. Not looking for that crisp yet. Now normally for Belgian fries, They do use, well, traditionally they have used a combination of beef tallow and horse fat. Now, I don't know where I would get horse fat in Toronto, and we couldn't find any beef tallow. In fact, we couldn't even really find any animal fat this week, so I am just cooking this in canola oil, which is sometimes done today, to my knowledge anyway. If somebody knows otherwise, please feel free to correct me. Between batches, just given the variability of the temperature of oil, particularly if you don't have a deep fryer, it is generally a good idea to check the temperature to make sure you're still at 300 Fahrenheit. I'm probably going to be doing this because it has dropped. Next batch. Oh, okay, dropping in is not a good idea. Alright, so given that this is a lot of potatoes to fry, I'm actually going to get started on our mussels. And so I've got a pot here, a nice large pot with about 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil and about 2 tablespoons of butter. And once that is melted, I'm going to add 2 shallots, finely chopped, and 6 cloves of garlic, minced. And you basically want to cook that on low until the shallots and the garlic get translucent and soft. So I have my mussels. They've been cleaned, they've been debearded. When you are working with mussels, you want to probably buy about a ½ pound more than you think you need. So we bought 2 pounds. There's probably only about 1.5 pounds of usable mussels here. Because some of the mussels are quite naturally going to show up dead. They're going to be open, the shell is going to be broken, things like that. So if you want to make 2 pounds of mussels, make sure you buy 2.5 pounds of mussels. Take a look at our shallots and garlic. Once those are nice and cooked and translucent, you want to add 2 cups of white wine. And you're actually going to bring that to a boil. And this is going to be the base for the liquid that we're going to use to steam our mussels. But it's also going to be the base to the sauce. So the sauce is basically a white wine and cream sauce, very rich, very lovely. But once your shallots and garlic and wine come to a boil, you're going to want to add 1/3 cup of heavy cream. This is just to make the sauce richer. Give that a quick stir. And now we can actually steam our mussels. Now you're supposed to add them in gently, and considering that I've got a camera in one hand, this is not going to be very gentle if I keep shooting here. So I'm going to put you back on the tripod and I'm going to add the mussels and set those to steaming. It should be fairly quick, about 5 to 7 minutes. You'll want to stir occasionally until the mussels are opening up. Any mussels that don't open up in cooking, get rid of them, they are dead. For the mussels, you'll probably want a spoon to help you out, just so you can lower them in there gently. I'm not going to be very happy with you if you just dump them all in at once. This is all looking and smelling divine. I smell like fried things. I'm basically smelling like butter as well. Honestly, for me, this is basically just smelling like Antwerp. Lower gently, very gently. So you want to cover these. The mussels will open on their own. Every couple of minutes, give them a stir. Alright, so the first fry is done, and I can actually sort of get why people have issues with home fries. You fry them the first time and they kind of get soggy and limp. They're not that appealing. So I'm going to get this oil up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is to say that I'm going to wait until that thermometer yells at me and hope that's about 350. I am going to show you. I've got some of the potatoes that are fried the first time in this bowl. I've tried to pat off as much of the oil as possible. You should be leaving these until they get to room temperature before they get to the second fry. So I just had some of them in here so I would cool a little bit faster. They are nice and cool now. This is ready for the second frying. I am terrified of this. I definitely got splashed before. Okay, I'm trying to be very gentle with these That was not gentle. I'm trying to be very gentle with these potatoes because they are rather soft. I think I'm going to get a colander for these instead of trying to pat them dry afterwards. That should be about 5 or 10 minutes in there, if I recall correctly. I have no space, I have no space, I have no space. Oh no. They're starting to look absolutely lovely. Okay, so some of the mussels are starting to open up. I'll just leave that a few more minutes. And there you have it. Belgian fries. Very few of them right now. I'm going to get to frying the rest of them. It's going to take a while. So I'm going to be right back. And when I get back, we shall have our Moules Frites, finally. So when I said the next time I was going to see you, I was going to be eating, I lied. Because I want to show you what the mussels were going to look like. So you see, all of them are starting to open. So our mussels are pretty much done. I'm just going to leave them simmering until my fries are done. And now, I will see you next time when I am actually eating. And here we are, Belgian Moules Frites. I've served the fries in a little paper cone here. This is normally how you get fries in Belgium, whether it's street food or from a fry stop. Actually, one of my favorite memories in Antwerp is when both my husband and I, we were pretty tired by this point, just decided after a bit of a light snack in the early afternoon, we were just going to head back to our hotel and get fries and beer, and that would be our night. So yeah, they're usually served in a little paper cone, so I have served mine in a little paper cone. And let's give these a taste. Okay, that is quality. It actually reminds me a lot of Belgium. The acidity in the andalouse is just amazing. When you put lemon juice in the andalouse, make sure it is fresh lemon juice. It really does make a difference. I've garnished the andalouse with a little bit of chives, just to give it a little bit of color. That's quite nice. And now I'm going to try the mussels. And the mussels you can garnish with as much parsley and chives as you want. I'm not a big parsley person, so I just have a little bit of parsley in there. Salt. I forgot to add salt. But the wine and the butter is really quite lovely. And the mussels are perfectly cooked. I think when I serve this to my husband, I'm going to put in salt. That's really nice. I really love mussels. I think I'm going to get my husband now and see if all this, I'm going to salt that first, see if all of this reminds him of our trip to Belgium. I'll be right back. All right.
Hello there.
Want to try some Moules Frites and tell me if it reminds you of Belgium?
Sure. First of all, let's start with the fries, which are the part I actually did have in Belgium. Because I was a wuss and didn't try mussels.
Yeah, he's not much into seafood.
Those are some very good fries.
How's the sauce?
A bit on the subtle side, but
I know you're more of a ketchup person.
no, I mean, I don't mind the mayonnaise. And it's actually, okay, there. I think I didn't get much from the first try. Yeah, that definitely reminds me of Belgium. That's good stuff.
Awesome.
And mussel.
Pardon his table manners.
That's really tasty.
Really?
Yeah, I may have to have mussels more often. That's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, no, they're easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Mussels are going on the menu for things other than cook the world.
She's a good cook.
All right, that covers Belgium. I think this is a success. My husband's reminded of Belgium. I'm reminded of Belgium. Next week, I'm probably going to do Venezuela, doing cachapa, which is basically a corn tortilla that has meat and cheese stuffed inside it. So we're going for health food this series. We're going for health food. That's it this week for Cook the World. If you like these videos, please subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye!